time it is.
Good day and welcome to Kidney Hub East Africa, the home of real conversations, awareness, and hope for the kidney community. I'm your host, half your host, Steve the Kidney Nurse. Today, Sunday, May 31st, we started a little late today, but 1 p.m. Eastern Standard USA and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We're live right now. We're live on the Steve the Kidney Nurse YouTube channel, Facebook page, and the FIGO Initiative Facebook page. So today, we are honored to welcome Emanuel Odhiambo, who was diagnosed with kidney disease May 2025 and has been on dialysis ever since. I hope I get this right, living in Busia, and he can correct me when he comes on, or Brother Moses, living in Busia, which is on the Kenya-Uganda border. So I am definitely honored to have Emanuel here. Now, listen to this. Emanuel's journey is one of courage, strength, and hope. So stay with us as we share, we learn, and inspire one another through this powerful conversation. We are also pleased to be joined by our co-host, the Kidney Ambassador, also known as Brother Ken Moses, and Renal Nurse Specialist, Tabitha Matekwa, who will help guide this important conversation with insight, compassion, and expertise. You're watching Kidney Hub East Africa. Now, before we get started, as always, I have to share the medical disclaimer. So let me get that on deck, because we don't want people going around saying, oh, y'all think y'all doctors. Wait a minute. Where's that? Hold on. Uh-oh. It looks like we don't have that disclaimer here. Yes, we do. Here we go. Kidney Hub East Africa. The information broadcast on Kidney Hub East Africa is provided for educational and informational purposes only, and is not, I repeat, not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, and treatment. Now, with that said, let's bring on our co-host, the Kidney Ambassador and Renal Nurse, Tabitha Matekwa. And as always, we got to give him the co-host VIP. Hey, Brother Moses, Tabitha, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Yeah.
Good. How about you, Brother Moses? How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you all for showing
Good,
up.
good. It's glad to have both of you back to share your insight, wisdom, and knowledge when it comes to kidney disease in East Africa, especially and where you live, Kenya, to kind of help us understand how kidney disease is impacting brothers and sisters over in East Africa, and not just there, but abroad and internationally. So thank you for joining us again and sharing your insight and knowledge with this conversation. So let's bring on our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Emanuel Odhiambo, and let's give him the VIP welcome. Emanuel, how you doing, sir? Uh-oh, it looks like he's muted.
Emanuel, how are you doing, sir?
Great.
Great. Thank you, Emanuel. Welcome to Kidney Hub East Africa. How are you doing today?
I'm strong.
When you say strong, can you?
Not bad.
I'm sorry?
Just expecting. Yeah, I'm strong. I'm very strong. Just waiting for tomorrow to attend my dialysis sessions.
Okay.
I do go to attend my dialysis every Mondays and Thursdays.
Mondays and Thursdays? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that is.
Okay. So, Emanuel, you live on the border of Kenya and Uganda. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Emanuel, can you share with us when you first learned your diagnosis in May 2025? Can you share with us when you first learned you had the kidney disease?
Yeah, I had passed through a lot because it was new illness in my life, and it really brought a lot of confusion because we were treating other diseases not knowing that actually it was kidney problem. So later on we discovered when it's too late, and I was like on stage 5 or 4, around 4-5 of my CKD. So that's when I started my dialysis, but I went through a lot of treatments because of a lot of ignorance. We didn't know what was really happening to me until we start experiencing signs like swelling, being puffy, tiredness, catching short of breath. So then we seek some thorough medical checkup, and from there then they discovered it was kidney issue. But by then now I had exhausted all my finances, and yeah, some of my support individuals gave up. Yeah, so it was very tricky for me. Yeah, it was very tricky.
So, Emmanuel, yeah, I was going to ask you, can you just step back a little bit from the camera? Right there. That's good.
What?
Right there. That's good right there. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
and Emmanuel, that leads me to my next question. You pretty much answered it. I was going to ask you, what were the first symptoms or signs that made you seek medical attention? And so you said you started swelling up in other what are some of the other signs that you mentioned that make you seek medical attention?
Okay, I was losing breath. Also, fatigue, a lot of fatigue, and nausea. I was like vomiting a lot. I take something, I'm vomiting, and my legs swollen, my abdomen swollen.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
something like that. And it was so strange. You know where I come from? People think that it is witchcraft, like somebody bewitched someone, and now they start to treat this one in the local way, but they take much time until now. My kidneys have big issues to that stage 5, something like that.
That's
So when we
interesting.
discover it was a bit late. Yeah, I'm listening.
Excuse me. That's
Yes.
interesting that you say that about witchcraft, because Brother Moses has mentioned that many times. And Brother Moses, when we can get that physician, or Sister Tabitha, if you know a doctor, that's a show we need to discuss to dispel that myth, so more people can get early diagnosed and get treated and not think that it's witchcraft. What are your thoughts on that, Brother Moses?
Absolutely. People tend to tie up superstition and myth and instant healings. That is why society needs instant gratification and healing in any form. And that is why they tend to believe there's somewhere you can go, either be prayed to, or take a magic pill or herb that fix everything. So yes, it is something that we have to dispel amongst our communities.
What's your thoughts on that, Tabitha?
I think it's very, very important to address this issue, because many people go for diviners where they are told about you've been bewitched, someone is against your progress, and that is why they have they put it in simple language. It's like they have thrown this disease to you. That is why it is presenting the way it is, and now we need to do 1, 2, 3. And part of the things they need to do is giving you some herbal medication. And those herbal medication, when someone takes them, instead of the kidney improving, it kind of gets knocked off. So if you are in stage 4, you automatically move to stage 5, where you need like an emergency dialysis. So we say it's good, like if your kidney is having an issue, take yourself to the doctor. He will administer the right treatment, despite many other myths that are there. Thank you.
Thank you, Tabitha, for elaborating on that. Emanuel, how did you feel
Yeah.
when you received the diagnosis, how did you feel when you received the diagnosis that you had kidney failure?
Yeah, I felt a bit of relief. Oh, it's
Uh-oh, your camera.
oh, it's gone. I don't have like a charging. Hello?
Yes, we still here.
My power is gone.
What happened, Brother Moses?
Emmanuel, hello?
Uh-oh. It looks like we lost
Emmanuel?
Mr. Emanuel. And let me tell you something. We're alive. We're alive. And so this can happen at any time because of the instability of the internet when it comes to being in East Africa. So, Brother Moses, see if you can reach out to Mr. Emanuel to see where we're going to, if he could be able to come back on.
Okay.
And in the meantime, me and Tabitha are going to have a conversation while you take care of that. Tabitha, so by you being a renal nurse specialist in Kenya at the hospital,
Yes.
What would you suggest someone watching this? So let me just go back. So I wanted to share 5 things to do if one just got diagnosed with kidney disease. Now, with that being said, is that information that's freely shared in Kenya when it comes to kidney disease education of letting people know things to do if they just been diagnosed with this disease?
Thank you very much, Brother Steve. If someone has just been diagnosed with kidney disease, I would like to request our fellow East Africa community. The first thing to do is to stay calm. And you need to understand about your diagnosis. And even as you understand your diagnosis, do not panic. Do not go looking for solution in other places, just like the way I had said earlier about you going for prayers and being told that this is witchcraft. Kidney disease is real. Ask which stage you are in, and even as you're asking which stage you are in, work with your doctor, work with your dietitian, and follow instruction. If you need to take medication, take medication. Follow the diet that has been prescribed to you because it helps to delay towards dialysis. Ask your doctor if it's chronic or it is acute. Acute is when the kidneys suddenly fail and you require urgent intervention. But chronic, the kidney has been failing slowly and slowly and slowly. Then it's good for you to know your test results. For example, your creatinine. These are the basic tests that you do. How high is your creatinine? How high is your urea? How high is your potassium? And again, also keep recording. You can buy a very small book, like almost, okay, I'm having a very big book. This is big, but maybe a quarter of this. When you have a quota of this book, a very, very small one, where you can record your urea, your creatinine, your potassium, your blood pressure, your urine check, and then again, you can create a file where you keep your test results. And when you keep your test results in that file, it helps you to follow through the treatment, such that if you have moved from this place to another place, the doctor can trace you, where we are at. And also that book where you are recording your blood pressure check, if your blood pressure is beyond the control, the doctor can just see from the reading that you have been recording, and the doctor can moderate the medication. When he moderates that medication, it helps to not to, because apart from the kidney being affected by the blood pressure, remember, it can affect your eyes, you can turn blind, you can get a stroke, and even your heart can fail as a result of your blood pressure being high. So it's good for that blood pressure to be moderated. And you continue with medication. And since our brother has he come in? Not yet.
Wait a minute.
So
Wait a minute. Let me interrupt you for a second. Brother Moses, what's going on?
Yeah, he's working out to get somewhere, because there's a total blackout entirely in that particular place.
Oh,
So that is why he was using a backup solar
gotcha.
lamp. Yeah.
Okay.
So
y'all heard it straight from Brother Moses. We're having issues. Like I said, this is real life. This is not recorded. This is real life. People living with kidney disease. Gentleman, Brother Emanuel, living on, how you pronounce that town, Brother Moses?
Emanuel.
No, the town.
Busia.
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 Which is right on the border of Kenya and Uganda. And so this is a first for this show to have someone as far out in that region. I don't know how far that's from Tabitha and Brother Moses, but
it's about 600 kilometers, 570 kilometers from Nairobi.
107.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, from
is that
Nairobi
about
to
an hour and a half?
No, about 5 hours.
5 hours.
Yes, minimum.
And
from
that's
Nairobi,
out in the countryside, right?
Yeah,
from Nairobi, 8 to 10 hours.
Wow.
From Nairobi. Yeah.
Wow. And I hope we can get him back, because I would like to hear how dialysis is done there. He already mentioned he goes Mondays and Thursdays, so twice a week. But just interesting to hear someone who lives in the far. That's the first guest, Brother Moses, we had. I guess I can say that was on here that lives in the far region. So,
absolutely.
But let me share this. So until we get Mr. Emanuel back, Brother Moses, I had a backup plan just in case something like this were to happen. And it's 5 things. I really had 10 set up just in case he didn't show up. But we got about half an hour to go. And I think these 5 things will fill up that half an hour just through conversation and dialogue. But let me just start off to say, people watching, thank you for your understanding and what's going on here right now. Again, we're waiting on Brother Emanuel to find a place where he could possibly use solar because of the blackout in the area where he lives. So what I want to discuss, or what we want to discuss, is 5 things to do. And this can apply to anybody, whether you're living in East Africa, you living in China, you living in the United States, wherever you're watching from. The 5 things you can do if you just been diagnosed with kidney disease. And Tabitha shared a lot. However, learning you have or your loved one has chronic kidney disease or end-stage kidney disease, ESRD or ESKD, end-stage kidney disease, or ESRD, end-stage renal disease, can be overwhelming to anyone. The good news is that you are not alone on your kidney care journey. That's why you have shows like this, Kidney Hub East Africa. So we're going to share 5 things that you can do if you've just been diagnosed. And so the first one that I want to say, and then I ask each person, Tabitha and Brother Moses, their opinion on this when it applies to fellow kidney warriors and potential people in East Africa and Kenya, how it can apply to them. So, number 1, find a kidney doctor. You'll want to find a doctor or nephrologist as soon as possible. Your nephrologist is there supposedly to partner with you and guide you to understanding what life is like with kidney disease and how best to adapt to treatments and medications while maintaining your quality of life. Now, when you talk to the nephrologist, you may want to start by asking, how can I lead a quote, whatever's normal for you, a normal life when I go on dialysis? Also, read and print, take questions with you that you may have so you don't forget. Brother Moses, let's just start with you. I know you itching to get in the conversation, but no, share about that. When you first get diagnosed, how is that process done since you're on dialysis? You've been on for about 8-9 years. What are your thoughts on that about finding a doctor when you first learned that you've been diagnosed with kidney disease? Is that a hard process to do? Share your insight on that.
Well, normally, let me take it back a little bit. Normally, this is point blank anyway. In Kenya, we have a little bit ailing systems, and most of the problems are pegged on systematic issues. And you can be sick, but in the first place, a diagnosis becomes a challenge in the first place because from other levels of hospital, from primary care, very few health, the entire staff are not well equipped, except for the few. And you realize that instead of referring you early enough to a referral hospital, like where our sister works, they delay. So your condition gets worse in the expenses of not being able to diagnose what actually is ailing. I remember 10 years ago, you would go even up to level 5 hospital, and still they will not suspect that you are suffering from CKD. They would relate it to other things, but not close to CKD. And now if you happen to reach that level at a point where now the diagnosis has been made, then again, it becomes a challenge because, most of our nephrologists, we have few of them, and the few are mostly huddled in urban and very few in urban centers. So you would have to move closer to the city to get a nephrologist now, to say a kidney doctor. You could get maybe a doctor, but then not a kidney doctor. So you'll have to move to higher levels of treatment, like level 5 and 6, and then that diagnosis can be made, and to further realization that actually this is what is ailing you, and this is what we have to do, because the few that we have also gone into private practice, and private practice makes it not accessible for majority of warriors, otherwise who would need such services to be seen by a nephrologist. So they end up in the wrong facilities, and then still that shortage remains the same. Unless programs like this can give on exposure to others, so that you get to know where exactly to go, because it's not about going, it's about going at the right place and at the right time. So if you go, for example, to another border called Marsabit County, then from Marsabit County, from Nairobi to the border of Moyale and Ethiopia, it is about over 800 kilometers. And then we only have one referral hospital with 4 machines and one nephrologist who also does not stay within. So, it is not easy to access a nephrologist at the right time when you need it. And therefore, there are still much more that need to be expanded. For example, Emanuel says, I was speaking to him, he says he's able to see a doctor. But again, funnily enough, he sees the same doctor I'm seeing, but he comes once a month to Kisumu to see him. And many occasions, sometimes because the doctor is also involved in other activities, and is not able to monitor closely, or is busy in another way, training or doing something else of importance, like maybe attending others in various clinics. So there could be even a challenge of that. That is why it still remains not an easy thing to access a nephrologist here in Kenya. However, if you want to make it easy for you to see a nephrologist, then you will go through private clinics. Then that one will work much more closer to getting public. Getting to see a nephrologist at the right time. And lastly, we have few nephrologists in Kenya, and I've always mentioned earlier, renal unit being also a young industry in Kenya. The few that we have are sometimes overwhelmed, including renal nurses. So doctors will want to sometimes try their best, but then because of such like challenges, it becomes not horrible, but then more of difficult if you don't get people like Tabitha to guide you properly, talk about it, you will always be going at the wrong place, seeking other medics and not getting the right person. So yes, in a nutshell, it is not something quite easily accessible.
So let me just switch over to Tabitha. Thank you for that, brother Moses. Tabitha, Moses mentioned that there's not enough nephrologists and the renal nurses are being overwhelmed. You're a renal nurse specialist. Can you elaborate on that? Do you see that in your position? Are you being overwhelmed? Is there a lack of nephrologists at the Kenya-Uganda hospital where you're at?
Okay, in my hospital, we are really fully equipped because it's a referral hospital, a level 6, we call it a level 6 hospital, where we have the nephrologists, we have the renal nurses who are there. But in Kenya, we have over 7,000 patients who are on dialysis, and we just want to appreciate the fact that our government saw it wise to decentralize dialysis to different parts of Kenya, from Turkana, Moyale, Mombasa, Isiolo, Kisumu, Moranga, all those places we have dialysis centers. Yes, we may have less nephrology doctors, but we have quite a number of nephrology nurses who have been trained, and we usually request that every renal unit should be managed by a renal nurse, especially so that the patient are actually managed very well. Infection prevention can also be adhered to in the center. But I've seen like when our patients need to be reviewed by a nephrology doctor. I know like in Embu, we have nephrology doctors. Coast, Mombasa, we have nephrology doctors. In Kisumu also, we have nephrology doctors. And also Nakuru, PGH, we also have nephrology doctors. And even Moranga, we have them. And even in Embu, I've been to some of those places. Even in Isiolo, we have been to some of those places, and I have also encountered them. They have even Voi. And then in our hospital, Kenyatta National Hospital, we usually run a dialysis clinic. The dialysis clinic is for the patients who are on dialysis. You may be on a dialysis center where you are dialyzing, and maybe there is no visiting doctor, or if there is visiting doctor, you still maybe need or require to be reviewed. So what we do, on Monday, every Monday, we see patients that we have booked. You can even be written a consultation to come and book our clinic. When you come for review in the renal unit, in fact, it is within the renal department, you pay 1,500 for review. If you have to do UEC, you pay 1,000. If you have to do full blood count again, also you pay 1,000, and maybe any other test that may be required, you'll also be required to pay, and you also pay through M-Pesa services. Then that clinic is scheduled like for every 2 months or every 3 months, because we have quite a number of patients who are on dialysis, but we encourage patients to come for review. It doesn't matter where you are dialyzing, we won't push you away. And also a place like Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, also they also do reviews for patient, and again also Kenyatta University Referral, they also have clinics for such. You also have other private hospital, and again also if your pocket allows you, you can also see nephrology doctor privately, but we have quite a number of them who can see our patient depending on availability, though sometimes the distance could be a challenge depending on where a patient lives. But for dialysis, we request patient to dialyze at the nearest, either near home, near your workplace, or maybe somewhere you can so easily access. But for review, make sure you can access a nephrology, which may require you maybe even to travel apart from the way you get your services for dialysis. Thank you. You're muted. You're muted, Steve.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So the second thing or tip that you can do if you've just been diagnosed, create a support team. Create a support team. In addition to your care team, which will likely include doctor, the nurse, dietitian, in a lot of places. And we're going to talk to Brother Moses about this. Social worker. You'll also need the support of loved ones. Let your family and friends know about your diagnosis and that you may need their help in the future. Brother Moses, can you briefly, because we only got maybe like 15 minutes and we got three more things that we make it through, but can you share how hard, by you being on dialysis over there in Kenya, how hard is it for someone to create a support team, especially when you mentioned in the past that social services like a social worker and a dietitian were extra? You had to pay extra to consult those services. And how hard is it for someone who may not have family member to get support of friends and relatives in their circle to help them in the future, maybe if it comes to finances or getting a ride to dialysis? Can you elaborate a little on that from your experience?
Oh, well, I know in Kenya, sometimes if you tell somebody, there are rare cases, though there are also quite a number of cases where kidney warriors do not have a support system. And in most cases, their support system, because of maybe ignorance and humble background, contributes all this to enormous difficulties in accessing social services. For example, if you are a patient whose parent stays back in the village, then back in the village, there are so many challenges, like source of income and level of literacy also. And then again, number 3 is, I had mentioned it before, but then maybe lack of exposure. You haven't seen anybody getting sick out of a condition that eats you until the very moment you will lose it. And for example, if you have a family member, you are lucky to have a family member or family members, then sometimes they could not they are unable to, to get it right that this person, this is the mental state of the patient. He needs to be loved. Time and again, there are clinics, consultations. I mean, figuring out, because people tend to be customized in a way that when you are sick, they will come in doves, visit you, pay you a visit, buy you all manners of fruits. And the moment they realize that it is not, you are not getting better soon, it is just but the beginning of the journey, then you will see them withdrawing time and again. So I want to discuss openly that whether you have a family members as support system or not, the problems might just remain the same. Why? Because you can have family members who chip into your state and affairs, and even if they are short of anything, they are able to sit up, come up with an idea how to help you. And again, you can have a family that honestly, they're just ignorant about everything. And then also, given the humble background, so it becomes so challenging to navigate through. I've seen, I know Tabitha might even share with you, there are warriors, we've lost them because where they were staying, they could not afford, or those who hosted them are no longer in the same town. They are moving, or maybe they lost some job and they retreat to the village. You know, we have a different setup here, Brother Steve. We believe that when you can't make it, you retreat home, your ancestral home, that is back in the village, up country. So what happens? Because the same system that is back there, because of what I've mentioned, poverty, so then ignorance. That is when they will declare you sometimes that it's witchcraft. You don't love prayers. You are a man of little hope. You know. So moving on, the government of Kenya has not done much on those areas because, as you know, we are in third world country. You realize that if you have to see a social worker, sometimes you have to pay. A social worker, be it a nutritionist or name it, you have to pay. So if you can't pay, what do? Does your life ends? No. You keep on fighting. You keep on fighting just one day at a time. And what you can access, you access. People travel from up country to Kenyatta National Hospital just to see something otherwise could be decentralized to these devolution units, so that we get, for example, today, if one has to get an access, then the best place to get access is at Kenyatta. That is where we all have all those specialty. You have maybe cardiovascular issue. The best place if you need to be helped is to go to Kenyatta. But then now if you can ask yourself, if everybody goes to Kenyatta, what happens there? They get overwhelmed, bed capacity, workforce, you know. So yes, it is a very long statement to share this, because away from that, how many can afford to make it to that destination? Pay at least the minimum required. For example, consultation, laboratory fee, and and money for files. So that kind of bureaucratic system also contributes. However, knowledge overrides all this.
Mm-hmm. Brother Moses, let me interrupt you because I want to get some insight from Tabitha about the support team. Is it hard, Tabitha, for people who come to your hospital to create a support team, like have a doctor, nurses, dietitian, and social worker helping managing their care while they're dealing with this disease?
Thank you so much, Brother Steve and Brother Moses, for raising the issue concerning the support system. And the reason we are doing this show is so that we can also educate the Kenyan. We can also raise awareness even to the government so that they can know that kidney disease is a real issue and people really require a lot of support and whatever it actually entails. When patients come to our department, we also have a nephrology, and if it is the first time we request, it's good for them also to be seen by a counselor, to be seen by a nutritionist, and then every time they come for review, it's also good for them to be reviewed again also by the nutritionist, the counselor, and also again even our pharmacist is always on board so that they can discuss concerning the medication. And even as this support team is there, it goes back again to our pockets. And if maybe the patient is not able to afford, yes, they may be sent to go to the social worker. It's actually, again, also a process of them going through, discussing the case, whatever the problem is, and how they need to be supported so that the bills can, again, wait. But again, it's a process. For that patient who is fatigued and tired, somehow they may give up along the way, but we have them on board. And what I would request is that if you are able to raise fund as a patient or maybe relative, it's good to look for ways to raise funds for our patients. You can inform your church members. If you go to any denomination, be it let's say like if you are a Christian, if you are a Muslim, wherever your places of worship, you can involve them. We have, especially the Muslims, are very, very supportive to their very own. If they need a catheter, they only need to involve them, maybe the imam, and you see a catheter being bought. Again, if you're working, you can discuss with your colleagues, and when you discuss with your colleagues, they can look for a way of supporting you. If you have friends, bring them on board. Again, also, you can create WhatsApp group which you don't have to dismantle, where you keep updating your progress and you keep telling people, this time I'm financially drained, I'm not able even maybe to pay my rent, I'm not able to raise money for medication. And it's good for the public to know our patients, they have huge prescription, and with those huge prescription, it means maybe like, for example, antihypertensive, you might find time they have like 3, 4, or 5 types of antihypertensive, and they are costly, plus many other, because sometimes they suffer mineral bone diseases, and we have to supplement. Sometimes their blood level goes down, they need transfusion, and if you are transplantable, we recommend the user a leukocyte filter. One leukocyte filter is 22,000 here in Kenya, and you can imagine how many people can be able to raise 22,000 Kenya shillings, so that by the time they are being transplanted, they don't develop antibody against maybe the person who is supposed to, that kidney doesn't get fought, or the body doesn't reject because you got a blood without a filter. And therefore the public, they need to understand our patients have got a very huge and very big financial burden, and we need to really look for ways to support them. The government need to look for a way to include them. I know there's a lot of funds when it comes to oncology patients. Some of them even get a place to stay. They are accommodated somewhere. But you will find for our kidney patient, rarely will you find them getting donors to come and maybe get a place where they can build a hostel for them as they come to seek services, be it a review or be it a dialysis if they are coming from very far. Again, also we say that dying starts with the mind. If you psychologically you're not well, you need a lot of support. We don't want you to die, and that counseling is very, very important. If you feel like you're not okay, look for support. And I encourage my patient, kindly do not stop working unless they decide to lay you out. And if you've been laid out, look for other ways how you can survive. You can buy something for 50 bob, sell at 100 bob, but don't just stay idle unless maybe you're not even able to move, because you need that 1 shillings. You don't have to be paid fare every time. People don't have to do everything for you. You need to do just some little effort. As much as people support you, we don't want them also to get tired. You also need to participate in your care. Thank you so much, Brother Steve.
Okay. The third thing is connect with others in the kidney community. And we know by looking online that there are many support groups and social media groups for people with kidney disease and their care partners. Brother Moses, can you share a little bit about the access to kidney community groups in East Africa and Kenya?
Oh yes, we have so many of them, but then most warriors seems, out of my experience, most warriors, you advise them to join this, they are hesitant because of that also mental health. They tend to withdraw away from such like constructive ideas. You tell them, hey man, let's do this. The reaction tend to be very poor. If it's not that, people tend also to treat some of the groups with a lot of suspicion, and unless one is mentally upright, you are able to talk to him and be at the right group, Brother Steve.
Okay. Yeah. Tabitha, what are your thoughts? Do you see any challenges for people dealing with kidney disease who may come to the hospital, connect with others in the kidney community? Is that often encouraged? And are there organizations that are legitimate in Kenya for people dealing with kidney disease?
We have several organizations, and I can just cite a few that I know. We have the Lupus Society of Kenya, we have the Hypertension Group, we have a group for patients with diabetes. We also have a group for patients who have kidney issue, Renal Patient Society of Kenya, of which even today I've seen us to share this flyer on the group. The group has more than 1,000 members, and we also have a small subgroup of the same, which is for like the teenagers or the young ones. We have those people who are maybe because of lack of information, maybe they are not willing to join the groups. Of course, there is maybe a registration fee. Maybe the day we'll get their representative coming on board, they will tell us what it really entails to join the group. If they need to register and the benefits, but I know they help. Some of them they negotiate with some laboratories where they get a package for them. If you are in this group and you can benefit this discount. The Renal Patient Society of Kenya, they organize walk. They also organize some meeting where they go and talk to each other. Sometimes they even have lunch. They support each other emotionally and physically. And many times I've even seen them post in the group and someone asks a question of which they cannot even ask anywhere else. And some people there, they are busy laughing. Others are enjoying the conversation, and they are learning a lot out of whatever someone posted. So emotionally, it is very, very good because you feel like you belong and you are supported by your very, very own. And if there is any challenge, they even tell you, my friend, you just need to be in the hospital. Can you run to the hospital? And for those issues with medication, I've seen the group really supporting, even raising funds for their very own. Like last week, we lost a child who was called Karen Wasisi, who was transplanted sometimes back, was donated the kidney by the father, and I would even see them grieving and mourning, and also trying to help the family to come to terms with the reality of the grief, and even participating in raising funds even for the burial. So there's a lot of benefit being in that group, and I would encourage most of the patients to look for a group that is near you, or you can even form a group as a unit. We need to be in one group wherever we are dialyzing. We will be able to check on each other. How is so and so? And when you connect together, either via WhatsApp or through the messages, it really helps a lot. It's also become a moment of education because you will learn. Wherever you are ignorant, you'll get a lot of insight out of that. Thank you, Brother Stephen Moses.
No problem, Tabitha, no problem. Number 4, the fourth thing to do if you've just been diagnosed with kidney disease. Learn all you can about kidney health. Learn all you can about kidney health. Now, in most places, your kidney social worker, the nurse, doctor can answer your questions about kidney disease. However, it will help to learn everything you can about kidney health, including diet tips. For example, many people with CKD must limit fluids and specific nutrients such as potassium or phosphorus. And this can help you feel more empowered as you adjust to living with kidney disease. Brother Moses, briefly, can you share with us how hard is it to learn all you can about kidney health from your perspective in Kenya when it comes to, I know you have really no access to social worker because of extra costs, but your nurse at the dialysis clinic and the doctor who may come see you there or the technician, what information do they provide patients at the clinic to help them learn all they can about kidney health?
Well, there is little information provided at the facilities, because seemingly that culture is not there with most of our staff in clinics, and what happens is that you have to search knowledge accordingly as an individual, because if you don't ask, nobody might tell you anything. It will be most units, it's a culture of you walk in, you are hooked into machine, and then the 4 hours goes and the next patient. Reason being, we still do not have that culture. So the best way forward is to seek knowledge yourself, get to understand more closely your health, your disease, all that goes about renal care. And then where there are gaps, you can always follow up with the care team, from your nurse running down, from your doctor running down to everyone. So if you don't do that, then I am sure you might have problems. So this is why I want to encourage warriors out there to keep on advocating for themselves and for others by first seeking information, so that when you speak up of an issue, or when because again, we are in this kind of confusion there. Every information is out there. For example, I used to get confused about diet. I had not known that there is diet for example, a case example like protein. I didn't know that somebody on dialysis need almost thrice more protein than somebody who is not on dialysis. So if after reading or getting any information from any quarter, it is better you do a follow-up at the right place, because sometimes if you don't ask, you will not be informed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Tabitha, is it, from your perspective, is it hard for kidney patients that come to the hospital to get all the information they can, or do you see a lack of people wanting information? I mean, what is your thought on that? We can't hear you.
Thank you very much, Brother Steve and Brother Moses, concerning the issue of information and education. In our unit, especially during the clinics, we take time. Personally, I also take time to do like a health talk to the patients who have come to the clinic, and maybe those who are on dialysis. If when possible, I go around talking to them and giving them some information. However, we encourage the nephrology nurse who is there putting the patient on the machine. As you are preparing that machine for the patient, you can have a talk. Find out, are they taking their medication? Find out concerning the diet. Find out the catheter they are having. Are they considering putting a fistula? Are they considering a transplant? Are they having any issue? Just by interacting with them for 10 or 15 minutes, you can really give a lot of health education to that particular patient. So we say you are the contact person. And even when we are having students, sometimes I also take them through the counseling perspective of the real patient. And I tell them, when you go back there, maybe there is no nutritionist and there is no doctor, there is no counselor. You take that role of helping the patient understand about their condition, because if you do not help that patient, sometimes it's become very, very difficult. Of course, we have other people who are out there trying to educate patients when it comes to disease. For example, Figo na Afya Mashinani by one of the nurses, a champion who is called Rose. We also have another lady who is in UK called Kate, also takes moment to educate patients about the kidney disease. But we also have patients who maybe they don't have a smartphone and maybe they cannot listen even to that TikTok. So you, the nurse who is interacting with the patient, you are the very most important educator to that patient. So let us take some time and talk to our patient, give them education. And even the family members, they also need to interact with the doctors, interact with the nutritionist. Do not allow the patient just to go alone to learn about the diet, to just go alone there to learn about how to take care of the catheter. As a family member, you need to walk side by side with the patient, and even as the patient learn, you are also learning, and you become like a support group. And even friends who understand about the kidney disease, it is good to share with our patient. And the way I've said again, it is very, very important for our patient to belong to those support groups, those special groups, because they will help you understand. There's a lot of education that really goes on in those some of those groups. And because they also invite me in, I can tell there's a lot of education going on. And in case there is a problem, we can see the nutritionist is also in the group. Sometimes we also respond towards some of their questions. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you for that, Tabitha. Now, our last fifth thing to do if you've just been diagnosed with kidney disease: continue to do what you love. Having kidney disease may require some lifestyle changes, but it doesn't mean you can't still do the things you enjoy. Now, we know over in Kenya, East Africa, some people may be limited to doing home dialysis, but there are different treatment options for different lifestyles and schedule. There's home peritoneal dialysis, home hemodialysis here in the US and over in Europe, and in-center dialysis, as well as nocturnal dialysis, where you can do dialysis overnight, 6 to 8 hours. And again, home dialysis. So always talk to your doctor, your nephrologist, to see what treatment option may be best for you. Brother Moses, just share with us some of the options that are available to Kenyans who are diagnosed with kidney failure what options are available for them, and what option do most people take?
The most accessible is in-center hemodialysis, and that is what majority of warriors take here in Kenya. Twice a week, 2 sessions a week, and that is what majority has here. I personally do in-center hemodialysis. However, home dialysis is, I want to put it that it is a preserve of fuel. So for in-center hemodialysis, that is where majority of us are. Yes. Back to you, Brother Steve.
Let me ask you, Brother Moses,
Yes.
right quick. How hard, from your perspective, is it for, and I know you can't speak for every person on dialysis in Kenya, but how is it for you when you first got diagnosed on dialysis? Was it hard for you to continue to do what you love before you got, excuse me, before you got hit with kidney disease?
Oh yes. I used to love playing football, and not football. I used to love playing basketball. Even from school, I'll still go and play. And what happens? The first 6 months after diagnosis, it's like I was in a dark corner. I tried avoiding everything, including everything that I loved besides playing basketball, and including music. I just withdrew everything. And then when I got mentally stable, and acceptance crippled in, then I picked my life once again. So I was able to come back to the things I used to love. I'll do them. However, the last 3 years, it has been a challenge to me because my health has deteriorated, including my memory. I remember there are things that I will do perfectly. I will memorize things. But today, sometimes I go to the CBD and forget about what I'm supposed to be doing over there. So sometimes, as much as one can fight, but it gets a point whereby the spirit is willing, but the body can no longer accept moving on. So it was not an easy journey, navigating to the point where you pick up life again. Yes.
Okay. Tabitha, from your perspective, do you see individuals that you may have seen get diagnosed and start treatment, and you get to learn a bit about them? Do you see most people hit with kidney disease continue to do what they love to do before they got diagnosed?
I think it's not so many of them. When they start treatment, if they don't get supported very, very well, some of them even resign from their work. I remember there is a guy who was working in the bank, and by the time I realized that he has already resigned, already he was telling me, I stopped working, and I was like, how? Why? Because he felt like he could no longer perform. But for those maybe who are able to come for counseling, we encourage to do what they can best, yes. Then they can negotiate with their boss. If you can do this instead of this, but you don't have to completely fail to go to work. And the fact that they attend other dialysis center, I tell them also to negotiate with the center. You can go for dialysis very early in the morning, like maybe 4 a.m., and then you finish dialysis by 8. By 9, you have already reported. Or you can go for dialysis in the evening from 4 p.m. after work, so that you don't miss your work, and again you also don't miss dialysis. And with that, sometimes it will kind of work very well. But we know our patients have got with time they develop maybe mineral bone disease, there's that chronic fatigue. Some of them maybe they are not even able to sleep well, there's lack of concentration, lack of work output, it is low. Some employers find it very, very difficult to give 2 days per week, such that they find like they're losing business. And especially if the employer is business minded, would prefer maybe to replace the personnel. Again, also they suffer frequent anemia and frequent infection. So there are those maybe whatever they used to do best before, they are not able to do. Some of them, they even completely stop working, and others maybe they're just there, yes, but they're getting support maybe from their loved one. There are those who dialyze, they get maybe some strength. I remember there's one of patient who dialyzed for over 7 years. When I met him, he was very weak, very weak. They would come holding him. But what I like about him, even with counseling and a lot of support even from the family, he was able to stand up, and he owns a security firm. And right now I'm really proud of him because he's doing well. He's busy training his personnel and distributing to the companies. And to me, that is a very great success story. If I have to give a story about somebody, I would say at least he's doing well. He's not yet been transplanted, but he's doing well. So we tell patients, if it is possible, negotiate with your boss. See what your strength can allow, so that you don't miss that salary. Maybe you have your children that need to continue with education. You have bills to cater for. And even if you are not married, or you don't have children, at least your life needs to move on. And for children, we encourage them not to miss school. Maybe they can negotiate with the dialysis center to have 1 day for dialysis over the weekend and 1 day for dialysis within the weekday. And then during that period when they are on dialysis, let them come with the books so that they can do their homework, but they don't have to completely miss schools. For those who are in colleges, we also encourage them the same. They negotiate with the dialysis center. They can go after maybe the lesson, or maybe they can go very early in the morning so that they also don't miss their lesson. We want people to continue with their normal life, whatever normal means. It may not be the normal that we used to experience before, but the new normal that has come. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I want to read one comment before we go. We're over like almost a half an hour, but the one comment I want to read is from Stu. She says, "Thank you for the information discussion. I was especially happy to hear the importance of patient support groups being highlighted. As someone living with KD, kidney disease, and involved in a patient support group, I've seen firsthand how much encouragement and knowledge sharing can help. And thank you, Stu, for sharing that. You're absolutely right. One more comment that I missed. That was from Peach T. How can patients have hope when they can't meet the financial challenges for services? Brother Moses, you want to answer that?
Okay. Talking about financial challenges.
No. Just this comment. The person says, how can patients have hope when they can't meet the financial challenges for service?
Yes. Yeah. Regarding financial challenges, in most cases, it varies from each individual warrior, and there is no way of overcoming that. There is no way. From my practical point of view, there are formulas that might work, there are formulas that might not work. So you just try to get up to what can really work for you. And that is it, Brother Steve.
All right. Thanks for that, Brother Moses. Tabitha, do you have anything to add to that?
I'm thinking that our social health insurance fund pay for dialysis twice a week, of which you have to pay. It depends on how much you are paying for your monthly payment. But for a dialysis patient, we know that you are required to have paid 1 year ahead for you to benefit the dialysis services and continue updating every month. And in most dialysis center, I think they have a memorandum of understanding with most of the facilities, where you need to dialyze twice a week, and also it pays for 1 monthly lab. That is urea, electrolytes, and creatinine plus full blood count. And I think some of them also they pay for 1 review in some of those centers. So it could be a bare minimum that you can take advantage of. And it is very important to make sure once you have done those tests, they have been reviewed, and make sure you have also asked the opinion of even the nurse who is also dialyzing you. You have asked the opinion of the dietitian who is on board. You have also asked the opinion of even a counselor, generally how they are seeing you faring. So you can take advantage of even that package and make sure at least, even if you won't be able to benefit much, but at least you are reviewed at least once a month, yes. And those tests are actually done, as much as we continue to struggle here and there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. So as we come to the end of today's episode of Kidney Hub East Africa, we want to give a heartfelt thank you to Emanuel Odhiambo, who was here earlier, but had connection issues pertaining to a blackout in this area. So we hope to possibly bring him back sometime in the future, and he can have better service. So we thank you for sharing his story. Also, to everyone living with kidney disease, you are not alone. There is hope, there is strength, and there is support. We also appreciate our co-host, the kidney ambassador and renal nurse specialist Tabitha Matekwa, for their valuable insight and compassion not only in the story, because they didn't get to ask their questions, but bringing awareness and information to this conversation of the 5 things you should do if you're diagnosed with kidney disease. Again, to everyone living with kidney disease, you are not alone. There's hope, there's strength, and there's support. Until next time, this has been Kidney Hub East Africa, where awareness meets hope. Take care, stay informed, and keep supporting the kidney community. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brother Moses, Tabitha. We see everyone later. See you next week with another brand new episode. Take care.
Take care.